Crawford wants this fight a lot. He wants this fight, and I think he will be more active than Canelo's previous opponent. And he has different mentality. He has champion mentality.
Someone like Canelo fighting against Crawford, you need more than power. You need more than speed. You need ring IQ. You need literally everything, because this is the two best pound-for-pound fighters.
It's a real risk there for him for taking the fight. I mean, of course, he's like any other champion. He wants to make you guys celebrate what y'all want to make us pay for, which is...
The boxing world is buzzing with excitement after Turki Alshik officially announced a blockbuster showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. In a tweet that sent shockwaves through the sport, Alshik declared, "We will deliver the fight of the century with Riyadh season on September 12th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas." The legend Canelo defends his Ring magazine title against the great Terence Crawford. The TV platform will be announced soon. Expect a big surprise. My brother Dana White will co-promote this first TKO boxing event with me. It will be something crazy. This announcement came just moments after Canelo's dominant victory over William Skull on May 3rd, 2025, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where he once again became the undisputed super middleweight champion. In a dramatic twist, Alshik orchestrated the first face-off between Canelo and Crawford during Alvarez's post-fight celebration, catching fans and media off guard and igniting anticipation for what promises to be an unforgettable event. Reactions have poured in from across the boxing world. Former opponent Dmitry Bivol, one of the few men to have beaten Canelo, shared his thoughts, suggesting that Crawford's hunger, high activity level, and mental sharpness could present serious problems for Alvarez. Bivol emphasized that Crawford's ability to adapt in the ring will be key as he steps up to 168 pounds to face Canelo's power and relentless pressure. With two of boxing's pound-for-pound elite set to collide and a production team that includes Dana White and Turki Alshik promising a spectacular event, the stage is set for what could truly be the fight of the century.
He wants this fight a lot. He wants this fight, and I think he will be more active than Canelo's previous opponent. And he has different mentality. He has champion mentality. I think fight will be much more interesting.
What do you make of the weight in that fight, the weight difference?
I think Crawford will not let Canelo just walking on the ring when he wants, because we could see this fight. Canelo did everything. When he wanna rest, he could rest easy, in this fight. Yeah, of course, when he wants to work, that guy didn't give him work. Just rest. And I think with Crawford, it will be harder to rest.
Who do you think wins?
I don't know. It's a very interesting fight, but I don't know. We'll see.
Former world champion Amir Khan, who has faced both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, believes boxing intelligence will be the key factor in their upcoming clash. While acknowledging Canelo's clear advantage in power, especially at super middleweight, Khan argues that Crawford's superior ring IQ, speed, and movement could be the deciding factors. Drawing from his own experience in the ring with both men, Khan described Crawford as one of the smartest fighters he's encountered, highlighting his ability to read opponents, adapt mid-fight, and use angles effectively. In Khan's view, these qualities could allow Crawford to neutralize Canelo's pressure and power, making this fight not just a physical battle, but a true test of skill and strategy.
It could have gone either way, because I had probably Skull winning by 2 rounds. I mean, I like Canelo. I think he's a great fighter, but the thing is, I think that he was looking he was picking the shots better and landing the better, cleaner shots. Canelo was marked up a little bit, but look, it could have gone either way. Anyway, regardless how the fight went, it was a great performance by both fighters, but it's made a bigger fight happen now with Canelo and Crawford. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Is there more question marks being asked in that fight now? Because a lot of people say, look, Canelo's a bigger guy. He should technically be the bigger guy, have too much weight for Crawford. But from that performance, do you feel like it's a lot tight and there's a lot more question marks in that fight?
Yeah, I mean, you need more than size, you need more than weight, you need more than everything. I mean, I think what you need now is you just need box IQ, the right box IQ, you know what I mean? You need to be smart. And someone like Canelo fighting against Crawford, you need more than power, you need more than speed, you need ring IQ, you need literally everything, because this is the two best pound-for-pound fighters who are going to be fighting each other, even though Crawford is going to be giving away a lot of weight. But I feel that it could go either way.
Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. believes the outcome of the highly anticipated bout between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford could largely depend on Canelo's mindset and approach. According to Jones, if Alvarez steps into the ring underestimating Crawford, assuming he can simply overpower or outbox him with ease, he could be setting himself up for a major upset. Jones stresses the importance of Canelo fully respecting Crawford's skill set, noting that Crawford's adaptability, precision, and fight IQ make him a dangerous opponent at any weight. For Alvarez to emerge victorious, Jones insists he must prepare thoroughly and avoid complacency, treating Crawford as the elite, undefeated champion that he is.
In that fight,
You know, it's a hard one to call, and I'm going to tell you why it's a hard one to call. It's a hard one to call because it'll all be predicated upon how Canelo approaches the fight. If Canelo approaches the fight like he's the man and he can box and outbox Terence Crawford, he'll get beat. If he comes out and shows that he really wants to go out and prove whether he's still the best, he might win. So it all depends on which Canelo come to the dance.
and just two more. Jaron Ennis, a lot of people say there's similarities between you and him. What do you think of this fight coming up with Stanionis?
We're going to find out a lot about Jaron Ennis against Stanionis, because Stanionis is a very good prospect, up-and-coming. So.
Clip 4. Hall of Famer Juan Manuel Marquez has expressed skepticism about Terence Crawford's decision to move up to super middleweight to face Canelo Alvarez, warning that the jump in weight could be detrimental. Marquez emphasized that weight divisions exist for a reason, to ensure fair and balanced competition, and suggested that Crawford may be overextending himself by taking on a naturally bigger and stronger opponent. While acknowledging Crawford's talent, Marquez questioned whether his skills would be enough to overcome the physical disadvantages he'll face against a seasoned and powerful champion like Alvarez at 168 pounds.
No, I don't like the fight because Terence Crawford is a good fighter, but in the sport of boxing, it has divisions. You know what I mean? You know?
Right, weight classes.
You know what?
Right?
Yeah, weight classes
for a reason.
Weight classes for yeah. And Terence Crawford is a good fighter in super lightweight, welterweight, super welterweight, but I think more. I remember when Terence Crawford fought with Madrimov.
Yes.
He looks slow. He looks with no power. And three more divisions, two more divisions. I think it's a top fight for Terence Crawford. But Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He has a great defense. He has a good combination of punches. But I think the weight class is no good for him.
Clip 5. Hall of Famer Juan Manuel Marquez has voiced doubts about Terence Crawford's decision to move up to super middleweight to face Canelo Alvarez, cautioning that the jump in weight could work against him. Marquez stressed that weight classes exist to maintain fair competition and suggested that Crawford might be pushing beyond his physical limits by challenging a naturally bigger and stronger fighter like Alvarez. While he acknowledged Crawford's exceptional talent and technical skill, Marquez questioned whether those attributes would be enough to offset the size and power advantage that Canelo brings at 168 pounds.
No, pues es una cajita sorpresa, no se sabe. Hay que esperar la pelea ahí y después ver la decisión, pero todavía no tengo nada así claro.
Well, I really have nothing much to say. Boxing is like a Pandora's box, so it's about to wait and see.
Clip 6. Terence Crawford views the upcoming clash with Canelo Alvarez as the most significant opportunity of his career, recognizing it as a defining moment on the biggest stage. He acknowledges Alvarez as the current face of boxing and sees this fight as a chance to prove himself against one of the sport's most accomplished champions. Driven by confidence and a deep belief in his abilities, Crawford is eager to showcase his skill, adaptability, and ring IQ in front of a global audience. His determination to seize this moment underscores his ambition to not only win, but to solidify his legacy as one of the greatest fighters of his generation.
Well, Canelo's the face of boxing. He's the best fighter for Terence Crawford out there. He's the biggest fight for Terence Crawford out there. So that's why Terence Crawford want to take the opportunity to share a ring with another great.
How do you beat him?
You'll see. Come 12.
Everyone's talking about the weight differences. What's your kind of response to that, Terence?
That's why we fight the fight. So September 12th, we all going to see if the weight going to make a difference or not.
Do you want to fight him twice and then retire? Is that kind of the ideal thing for you?
One fight at a time.
Clip 7. Canelo Alvarez hopes that Terence Crawford approaches their upcoming fight with the intention of delivering an exciting and competitive performance. Reflecting on his recent bout with William Skull, Alvarez expressed a clear preference for opponents who come to fight rather than simply survive the rounds. He emphasized that fans deserve a thrilling contest, one that showcases the best of both fighters and lives up to the magnitude of the event. Confident in Crawford's pedigree and fighting spirit, Alvarez expects him to rise to the occasion and help create a memorable battle worthy of the spotlight.
It's a mediocre mind because they come just to survive, to go to the 12th round. That's a mediocre mind. You need to put a good fight there and put great show. You know what I mean?
Do you think Crawford will employ the same tactics to try and box?
I hope not. I hope not because the people deserve a good fight.
What do you make of the Crawford fight next?
Huh?
How excited are you for the Crawford fight?
I'm excited. I'm gonna enjoy this win and then we think do it.
Clip 8. British welterweight Conor Benn views the upcoming clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford as a perfectly balanced showdown, describing it as a true 50-50 contest. Benn's assessment highlights the competitive nature of the fight, with both men bringing distinct strengths to the ring. Canelo with his power, experience, and pressure at super middleweight, and Crawford with his speed, ring IQ, and adaptability. According to Benn, the bout is a stylistic clash that could go either way, making it one of the most intriguing and unpredictable matchups in recent boxing history.
With Crawford going up, I believe he can put a beating on anybody 154, 160.
But not 68.
Nah, Benavidez is...
Canelo. Yeah.
Oh, Canelo. I think he's a smart fighter. He doesn't rely on his power. Crawford ain't a fighter who just relies on his power. And then Canelo, you know, when he's fought Belenga, then fought Ryder, Munguia. It's even. I think it'd be a 50-50 fight if Crawford fought Canelo.
Clip 9. Some observers have raised concerns about Canelo Alvarez's recent performance against William Skull, pointing to a perceived decline in his agility and overall dominance. Critics noted the low-output nature of the fight and questioned whether Alvarez can maintain his elite status when facing a highly skilled and active opponent like Terence Crawford. While Alvarez secured a clear victory, the lack of urgency and reduced movement have led some to speculate whether age, wear and tear, or a changing fighting style could impact his ability to keep pace with Crawford's speed, sharpness, and tactical versatility.
After really the Triple G fight is when we've seen the slippage on Canelo. And over the last 2 years, it's been immediately apparent. It's been apparent straight away over the last 2 years. Canelo's feet have always been slow. He's always been very slow-footed. So when people are saying, oh, it looks like his legs are slowing down, yeah, they are. They've never been quick, but now they're even slower, which is a problem. And Jim Lampley on commentary on Friday night show was saying that one of Canelo's biggest strengths is his legs. It generates power and it helps with his punch resistance. Well, those legs are sliding and that power is diminishing. Canelo hasn't had a stoppage win now since he knocked out Caleb Plant in 2021. And yeah, he's dropped some of these guys, but he's not been able to step on the gas and finish them. He's not been able to go through the gears. His gas tank, you can put that into question as well. And Canelo Alvarez, come July, be 35 years old. So he is, look, Canelo's been around so long and his real prime was in his mid-20s. So we associate Canelo, mid-20s to early 30s. So we kind of associate Canelo with that. I don't want to say ever young, but you know, he is still young, just not in boxing senses. But he's been around so long, 20 years a pro, and he's been at world levels for probably 15 of those. You're going to expect some slippage. And I think in this fight, an opponent, it was very negative, yes, but an opponent who Canelo Alvarez of 5 years ago would have handled, and he did handle him, but you know what I mean, he probably would have put some damage on William Skull. He didn't do anything. He didn't look good. And William Skull played his part in that, it has to be said. As I said, you fight that negative, there's only so much you can really do, you know, even if you're Canelo Alvarez, even if you are Alexander Usyk.
Clip 10.
Trainer Joel Diaz argues that the size difference between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford could be a decisive factor in their upcoming fight. Diaz believes that Alvarez's ability to absorb punches from larger opponents, coupled with his strength at super middleweight, gives him a distinct edge. He suggests that Crawford, moving up in weight to face Alvarez, might struggle to make a significant impact at the higher weight class, especially when facing someone with Canelo's power and physicality. Diaz emphasizes that while Crawford is a skilled fighter, the size and strength disparity could be difficult for him to overcome.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. A lot. Okay, Madrimov is a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ. I don't think Crawford has anything to beat Canelo.
Former champion and promoter Oscar de la Hoya has expressed skepticism about the upcoming fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, labeling it a money grab. De la Hoya pointed out the historical precedent that a smaller, skilled fighter rarely defeats a larger, equally skilled opponent, especially when the size difference is as significant as it is between Crawford and Canelo at super middleweight. He cast doubt on Crawford's chances, suggesting that while Crawford is undeniably talented, the physical advantages of Alvarez, particularly at 168 pounds, might prove too much for the smaller fighter to overcome.
Who? Canelo versus William Skull. William who?
Oscar being back in New York over here.
No, let's just say Canelo Crawford, in the history of boxing, and this is the facts.
Let's get it.
If you see Thursdays, Fact Thursdays, I speak the facts. All right, I'll even do it for you. A good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of the game, unless you go back to certain situations with Pacquiao beat me, but I was a dead man walking anyway. But a good little man never beats a good big man, so it's a tough test for Crawford, but I'm not counting him out. The bottom line, and this is the truth again, it's a money grab. That's it. Yeah.
But Crawford doesn't rely on his power; he relies on his IQ. Crawford, what he did to Spence was magic, was incredible, was amazing. And so, look, one thing about Canelo is that we all know that he walks in the ring as if there's wet cement, right? His footwork is a little too heavy. Crawford is such a smart fighter where he can he's like Bruce Lee, literally. And he's in his peak, he's in his prime, and so I think that if that fight ever happens, which I don't think it will, if that fight ever happens, I have to go with Crawford.
There you have it. Oscar de la Hoya talking about Crawford.
Super middleweight contender David Benavidez believes that Terence Crawford's exceptional skills and relentless work ethic could lead to an upset victory over Canelo Alvarez. Benavidez acknowledged the challenges Crawford will face, especially in moving up to super middleweight, but he emphasized that Crawford's boxing intelligence, adaptability, and high-level technical abilities make him a dangerous opponent for anyone, including Canelo. Benavidez pointed out that Crawford's ability to adjust during fights and his determination could help him overcome the size and power advantages that Alvarez holds, making it a much closer and competitive contest than some might expect.
The Ring magazine, which is owned by Turkey, reported that Canelo and Crawford have agreed to the September date and that it's essentially on. What is your I know this has been rumored and talked about, but now it seems like a done deal. What's your reaction to this?
It's a good fight. It's a good fight for both of them. Good fight for
I think it's more important for Crawford than anybody, you know. But I think if anybody could beat Canelo, I think Crawford could.
Yeah, I know you said like he could be the guy. What kind of a chance do you ultimately give him?
I think you give him like a 7 out of a 10.
Oh wow, that high! I thought you were going to say like 25.
Yeah, I mean, no,
just because
Crawford
of the
is
size.
good. Crawford is good, and
Of course.
I think he's been known that he's going to fight Canelo for a long time. And you know, Crawford he likes to pick up the weight, so I'm sure he's been working on the weights for a long time. So, you know, Crawford, when he has with a person that has a big IQ like that, if you do enough weights, you know, and you stay working for a long time, you know, you have a puncher's chance.
Unified heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk emphasizes that in boxing, skill often trumps size, and he believes Terence Crawford's technical prowess and sharpness could give him the upper hand against Canelo Alvarez, despite the natural size advantage that Canelo holds. Usyk, known for his own skillful approach in the ring, pointed out that Crawford's ability to adapt, outthink opponents, and execute his game plan with precision makes him a formidable challenge, regardless of the weight disparity. Usyk's perspective suggests that, while size is important, Crawford's boxing IQ and experience could play a crucial role in neutralizing Alvarez's strength and power.
Potential fight between Canelo and Terence Crawford.
Yeah.
How do you see that fight? Who
I
do you
like Terence. It's
Wow.
my friend, but it's crazy, man. Listen, I say Terence win. Yes.
What? Terence win over Canelo?
Yes, Terence win. But listen, Terence, it's different man. Terence work in две стойка.
Two sides.
Two sides.
Right.
Yeah,
And
right.
switch hitter.
Yes.
He's a switch hitter.
Yes.
Yes.
Right and left. But it's very smart man. It's very smart. But feel distance and place like
Adjustments.
spacing,
Exactly.
boxing.
You don't think the weight difference will be a factor too much?
Mario, you're asking him?
That's why I'm asking exactly.
But, Canelo big, yeah. Canelo too. It's a good boxer, but I say.
Former welterweight champion Sean Porter, who has faced Terence Crawford in the ring, has raised concerns about Crawford's ability to withstand Canelo Alvarez's power. While acknowledging Crawford's toughness and resilience, Porter questioned whether the smaller fighter can endure the physicality of a naturally bigger and stronger opponent like Canelo. Porter highlighted the challenge of facing someone with Alvarez's strength and pressure, especially at super middleweight, where the power and size differential are even more pronounced. While he respects Crawford's skills, Porter is uncertain whether Crawford can handle the intensity and physicality that Alvarez brings to the ring.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So
Promoter Eddie Hearn has described the upcoming matchup between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford as a freak fight, emphasizing the significant weight disparity between the two fighters. Hearn warned that even if Crawford performs well, the size difference could prove to be a substantial obstacle. He suggested that a victory for Alvarez might not carry the same weight, given the mismatch in natural sizes. Hearn expressed concern that the physical advantages Canelo holds, particularly his strength and power at super middleweight, could overshadow Crawford's skill and make the fight less competitive than many anticipate.
How is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez.
Alvarez.
Yeah. But you have to use your movement. if you're Terence Crawford in that fight. The last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat him.
Yeah.
You know.
Former super middleweight champion Caleb Plant has praised Terence Crawford's adaptability and unique boxing style, acknowledging that while the weight difference between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is a factor, Crawford's intelligence and strategic approach could make the fight more competitive than many expect. Plant pointed out that Crawford's ability to adjust during fights and outthink his opponents, combined with his versatile style, could allow him to neutralize Alvarez's power and physicality. Plant believes that Crawford's ring IQ and tactical mindset will be key in making this matchup far more even and unpredictable than some critics may think.
Terence is not a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? He's special. And, Canelo, he's a top-notch fighter, world-class fighter. Still on the pound-for-pound list, I'm sure towards somewhere near the top. And it's exciting. Terence is freakishly strong. He can punch. He's got good crack. He can fight from both ways. Orthodox, southpaw. He can fight at mid-range, close range, outside. And he can fight going both ways. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It's a big question mark on the end of it, though. So that's why, I'm sure all of us are excited for that bell to ring and, be able to find out firsthand.
Renowned trainer and commentator Teddy Atlas confidently picked Terence Crawford to win his upcoming fight against Canelo Alvarez, citing Crawford's exceptional skills, mental toughness, and adaptability as key factors. Atlas highlighted Crawford's refusal to accept defeat and his remarkable ability to adjust mid-fight as qualities that make him a formidable opponent, regardless of the weight class. Atlas believes that Crawford's resilience and boxing intelligence will allow him to overcome any challenges posed by Canelo's size and power, making him a dangerous fighter in any situation.
Come on, he's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, "Oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is." But who's he beating? He unified the what was his first division? Lightweight. Then he unified the junior. Then he unified the junior welter, then he unified the welter. I think I got the weight classes right. It doesn't matter. He unified like 3 different weight classes. He moved up in weight.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to stay tuned for more updates and insights. Until next time, take care.